The focus is going to be on the Salah and the Tahara. It might last for a month or two because we're only doing it once a week. So that is going to be the goal, inshallah, from next week. I may do a reminder, just a 5-minute reminder, and start the class from next week onwards. But the main goal, inshallah, from next week, as I mentioned the last time I was here, was going to be fiqh. So inshallah ta'ala, today we're going to mention one hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. بين رجل بفلاة من الأرض فسمع صوتا في سحابة. The Prophet ﷺ mentions of a man, he is in a barren land, and he hears a noise, he hears a voice from the clouds. اسقي حديقة فلان فتنحى ذلك السحاب فأفرغ ماء في حرة فإذا شرجة من تلك السراد قد استوعبت ذلك الماء كله. So the first part, he hears this voice, and it is telling the cloud to provide water, i.e. to basically send down rain to the hadiqa. Now hadiqa nowadays, today in modern Arabic, typically is translated as gardens, but it is referring to the farmland of this person itself. So and obviously it starts raining in this part of land, and the man who hears this voice follows the cloud, and he sees that obviously it is raining in this person's land. So once he sees this, he goes to this person who was actually وَهُوَ قَائِمٌ عَلَى حَدِيقَتِهِ, the person who actually got this rain. He was there, and he goes to this person and he asks him a question. فَقَالَ لَهُ يَا عَبْدَ اللَّهِ, O slave of Allah. Obviously he does not know this person's name, and he knows that the voice actually said isqi, yani provide rain to this person, and he mentions the name. The voice itself mentions the name, but when he addresses him, he calls him Ya Abdullah, O slave of Allah. So this is one of the things the scholars mention, is that you can address somebody just by saying Ya Abdullah. It does not necessarily have to be his name, but obviously this is addressing someone as a slave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are all slaves of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he tells him, Masmuk, what is your name? فَقَالَ لَهُ, once he tells him his name, once he mentions his name, he tells this person, إِنِّي سَمِعْتُ صَوْتًا فِي السَّحَابِ الَّذِي هَذَا مَاءُهُ يَقُولُ اسْقِي حَدِيقَةَ فُلَانٍ لِإِسْمِكَ. And he tells him, I heard the cloud, there's a voice in the cloud mentioning your name, and he asks him, what do you do? فَمَا تَصْنَعُ, what do you do? What do you فِيهَا, what do you do in it? Now there is a reason Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is blessing this person. Before I move on, I'll just mention one of the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Al-Latif, is that He provides you. One is also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what is apparent and knows what is hidden. So also when He gives you from things which you do not expect. So this obviously He's informed, but many ways Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provides us and blesses us with many things which we're not aware of. So here again, when he's told that I heard the cloud saying, and he mentions the name, and he asks him what he's doing, قَالَ أَمَّا إِذَا قُلْتَ هَذَا فَإِنِّي أَنظُرُ إِلَى مَا يَخْرُجُ مِنْهَا. So when he tells him, what I get from this land, I take from it, أَتَصَدَّقُ بِثُلُثِهِ, I spend in charity with 1/3. So whatever he gets from this land, he spends in 1/3. وَآكُلُ أَنَا وَعِيَالِي ثُلُثًا, and myself and my family eat 1/3. وَأَرُدُّ فِيهَا ثُلُثًا, and I return the last third also. Obviously you have to cultivate the land back. So 1/3 of his wealth, he gives it to charity. And again, when you spend for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on your family, this is also a means of charity. One of the ayahs that we recited today also is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows of what you spend. And I mentioned the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Al-Latif, and sometimes you hear this word Latifun Khabir together. I.e. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what is apparent and what is hidden also. So when you spend, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bless you with things where you may not even expect it. فَأَمَّا مَنْ عَاطَ وَاتَّقَى وَصَدَّقَ بِالْحُسْنَى فَسَنُيَسِّرُهُ لِلْيُسْرَى. Whoever spends in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and has taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we will make his affair easy for him. So today, whenever you hear another hadith, مَا نَقَصَ مَالٌ مِّن صَدَقَةٍ, that you do not decrease in wealth when you give sadaqah, think of this person. If he started being calculated with his spending or with his time, oh, I'm going to spend 1/3 in charity, maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best, he may not have the same blessing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed him when it comes to giving rain. In fact, the cloud calling and being commanded to go water the farm of this person. So brothers, whenever you and I give, either be our time, helping our brother for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, remember, whenever we do something, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will replace it and will reward us in multiples. Wallahu yudha'ifu liman yasha, and Allah will multiply it for whomsoever He wills. And one of the last names when we recited Al-Ghani, and remember, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is self-sufficient. He does not need any of us. So whatever money we spend, it is sincerely going to be obviously for our good in this life and the hereafter. So whenever we give, brothers, let's try our best to be sincere, and we do it for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to multiply it in this life and in the hereafter. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant, astaghfiruka. Jazakumullahu khairan.